How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. So the Green Bay Packers are still in this playoff race, but they still need a lot of help and cannot just control their fate by winning out. So going into the game on Monday against the Rams, we were at a 6% odds of making a playoffs. And with a victory from the 49ers over the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday night, and then the Green Bay Packers defeating the Rams with a score of 24-12, we have increased our odds from 6% to 8%. So we are still kind of low at this current time. So with a game this Christmas against Miami Dolphins, which is going to be a difficult one, if we win this game, we will still need a lot of help. And I figure let's look at the teams we'll also be rooting for in addition to ourselves to increase our playoff odds. So to start off with, our first team is the Carolina Panthers. They are playing the Detroit Lions this week. This one has probably the lowest, if you're going to put on a scale of who we're definitely rooting for and who we're kind of rooting for. The Carolina Panthers are a team we are kind of rooting for to beat the Lions, because in a weird scenario where the Lions start cooling off because they look like a pretty good team, they're on a hot streak. I think they're like 6-1 as of late. But if the Carolina Panthers do win, we do play the Lions in a couple more weeks, and that could determine some playoff scenarios for us. So we are rooting for the Panthers, especially since we have the Lions in a couple weeks on our slate. So if they win and then we beat the Lions, things could get very interesting depending on where the rest of the teams lie in the playoff race. The second team that we're going to root for, it's kind of rooting for Satan at this rate, is the Minnesota Vikings. Unfortunately, the Vikings play the Giants this week, and based off their record, we will need the Vikings to beat the Giants to stay in this playoff race. And considering there are many options and paths that could happen for the Green Bay Packers to make the playoffs, the Giants losing against the Vikings is one of them. Now, we would need the Giants to lose every game here on out. So losing against the Vikings would be a start, and the way the Giants have kind of been playing, it's not out of the realm of possibility since they haven't been playing good football lately. They've probably won about 2 games since they went on like a 7-1 streak, so they're definitely on the tail end. And as much as I would hate to say it, we are kind of hoping the Vikings win this game. So Vikings, you have one job for this week, because no matter what, come playoff time, you're probably going to miss a field goal wide left or wide right. So I'm not really going to be too heartbroken over this. The third team we will be rooting for, and this is going to be another team we're rooting for back-to-back weeks, and this is very weird to be rooting for them, is the San Francisco 49ers, considering they have been a thorn in our side for the entire Aaron Rodgers career, it feels like, especially during the playoffs. I despise them so much. But for this week, again, for the second week in a row, we are rooting for them against the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders are currently 7-6-1, and they hold the 7th and final playoff spot. So if they do lose 2 of the 3 games, and of course this is in the scenario Green Bay wins out and does what they're supposed to do, they could sneak into the wild card race over the Washington Redskins, which is also not really out of the realm of possibility, because despite the entire NFC East being in the wild card race and being a tough division, they're also not entirely having a good late season push. The Cowboys have been slumping, the Giants have been slumping, and the Washington Commanders have been slumping. So anything could happen, especially with those teams not playing good football right now. So we're rooting once again for the 49ers. And I don't like that feeling. Like, we're rooting for 2 teams right now this week that I do not want to root for at all. And lastly, the last team we are going to root for is the Kansas City Chiefs. Finally, another team that's not actually in the NFC for once, and I don't mind rooting for. I have nothing against them, but they are playing the Seattle Seahawks, and as of late, they have also been slumping. They need to lose the last 3 games of the season, and if the Seattle Seahawks do that and the Green Bay Packers win out, that's essentially the clearest path for us to actually just get into the playoffs. So also, once again, not out the realm of the possibility of it happening with this team slumping, and they're just not playing the greatest football as of late. So there is potential for the Seahawks to lose 3 in a row, and it starts with the Kansas City Chiefs, who I feel like should beat them, but Kansas City is a weird team. Like, I sometimes they look like playoff and world beaters, and other times I'm kind of curious how they make it so deep into the playoffs. Then I realize they do have Patrick Mahomes, so there's that. So obviously, not only will we be rooting for the Green Bay Packers, but we will be rooting for several other teams to help our chances to make it to the playoffs, because as of right now, they are still pretty low at 8%. But if the Packers win and some of these teams do beat their teams, it increases our odds greatly. They've constantly been saying that if we won out, that our possible chances of making the playoffs goes up to like an astronomical 76%, which was very wild to hear a couple weeks ago because we just didn't look like a good football team, and I just didn't see how, especially at like 5-8. It didn't make sense to me, but we're starting to get on a roll, and now it seems like anything's possible. And we've been here before, so this kind of could be a run the table 2.0, even though we didn't entirely say it. Who knows what the motto of this run could be. But let's go Packers. Let's go Chiefs. Let's go Panthers. Let's go 49ers. And let's go Satan. Should I root for Satan on Christmas? But let me know what you think down in the comments. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. And as always, go Pack Go.